Hello, ladies, and happy Wellness Wednesday. Welcome to my weekly Wednesday chat. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Aubrey Warwick. I am a TV fitness expert. I own a pole dancing studio in Greensburg, Pennsylvania, and I'm a transformation coach. Alongside of that, one of my hobbies is competing in bodybuilding. I am a bikini pro athlete, all natural. So today, I am shooting this video from my brand new phone that was $1 million. Okay, I'm just saying it's $1 million for this phone. I was operating formerly on an iPhone 8. Perfectly fine until I made the, it was like a death sentence. The heck? I guess this air quotes means throw balloons at me. Okay, which I updated my iPhone 8. Okay, and then it crapped the bed. It was like, hey girl, you've had your iPhone 8 too long. Guess what? You got to buy a $1 million phone. The reason why I tell you this is that I have competing pimples on my face. They're competing with each other. I never get zits on my cheeks. I got one here and one here that's like, hey, now that you have a $1 million phone, we're going to hone in on all your, I don't want to say flaws, but skin issues today. So anyway, you could say hi to thing number one and thing number two. Gang, I am jumping on here today for this live chat. I do this every Wednesday, either around 9 a.m. or around lunchtime. Today it's a little bit earlier, as you can see. So if you're catching me on the replay, this is really important to know. I want to share with you a very powerful story. And it's a story that it's quick, but you can probably relate to. How many of us have ever had a love-hate relationship with the scale? Raise your hand, right? Where you can step on the scale 1 minute and be like, woohoo, I lost a pound because I went number 2. Or you step on the scale to just piss yourself off. Either way, what we are doing as a human being is that we're trying to feel something, right? We step on that scale and either it's going to make us happy or it's going to make us sad/angry. What if we use the scale and we say, you know what? I might think those things right now, but I'm going to cut off the feeling associated with it. I'm going to show up and I'm going to step on that scale just one day a week, not every day, not 3 times a day. One day a week at the same time on that day. So if it's Sunday morning at 9 a.m., that's the same time to be consistent, to have that come to Jesus with the scale and to say this is just purely data. Now, I wish I would have had this concept back in my late 20s. So from the age of about 12 to 27, I battled myself with an eating disorder. I was bulimic, then anorexic, bulimic, then a binge eater and compulsive exerciser. The reason why I tell you this is I damaged my metabolism over those years to a point where I didn't even know what I was doing. I want you to think almost maybe like, do you remember the DARE program for those of you who are almost my age? Where they were like, this is your brain on drugs. Psh, and they put the egg in the frying pan. That was my metabolism, right? And I didn't realize what I was doing to it. Now I was going through this battle of, self-concept, self-acceptance, comparison, all these things that I struggled with, and they manifested physically. So fast forward to the point where I was, let's say 25, 26. I found my first earth angel, as I call him. His name is Dave Wigenroth. He was about 20 years older than me, okay, maybe 25. And he was a retired PE teacher turned personal trainer at a gym called the Alexander's Athletic Club outside of Pittsburgh. And he saw me struggling, right? He just was this neutral observer at the gym. And I was really struggling with losing weight. And it was like I was spinning my wheels. I was starving myself, and then because I was starving, then I would overeat and then overexercise. It was a vicious, awful cycle that I did reach a very low point in my life, to be honest, that I honestly just wanted to expire, to exit the planet. And that's a very powerful thing to say, but I was so miserable in my body. I was so miserable. And he noticed that. He took me under his wing, and he's like, hey, listen, I'm going to help you. And gang, so think about from the age of 12 all the way up to, let's say, 26 at this point. And that's a long time. That's a long time that I was screwing with my metabolism, right? Remember, here's your brain, the egg, here's your brain on drugs, here's my metabolism, here's my metabolism on anorexia, bulimia, binge eating, and compulsive exercise. So God only knows what my hormones were like. Oh, and I was on hormonal birth control. Bleh. All right, that was bleh. Okay. So every day that he took me under his wing for at least 3 months, I would step on a scale once a week. And it was so hard. He even had a hard time because what we were doing is that, I mean, and he would tell me, he's like, Aubrey, I don't think that you realized how much damage you've done to yourself. And the scale wouldn't move. I was 30 pounds overweight. To give you a point of reference, I gained 35 pounds for my pregnancy. Okay. So I was 30 pounds overweight. I'm a fitness professional. At the time, I was working in corporate America. So I was an account manager. So I wasn't really in the light of like people looking at me like, hey girl, your body's your advertisement, right? So that was neither here nor there, but fitness was still a huge influence in my life. I still identified as a fitness professional because my degree was in exercise science. Okay. So here I am. I feel like an imposter. I feel ashamed, the lowest vibratory emotion possible, right? Shame and guilt, all that crap. And every day that he made me step on that scale, it was emotional. But what I realized in hindsight is that I was emotionally releasing things that no longer serve me. So I had that come to Jesus. I had to allow the feelings of sadness, shame, guilt, doubt move through me. Until one day, all right, you know the story, there's a happy tone to this. After about 3 months, I finally reached a point where we broke. So I was like I was in like 156 pounds was my heaviest weight, I think. And then when I finally broke through, I skated and I got under 150 pounds. I broke down that day and gave him the biggest hug and I cried. It took me 3 months to repair my metabolism after over a decade of kicking it, of frying it to shit. Okay. So let me tell you, I was damn lucky because think about all that time that I was harming myself. And then in 3 months, thanks to someone who believed in me, yeah, when I didn't believe in myself, it took 3 months to move that. So my friends, if the scale is not moving after a week, 2 weeks, a month, 2 months, 3 months, what you have to do is number one, you don't quit because you've reached a fork in the road. What's your alternative? You're going to quit? You're going to keep putting your metabolism on drugs? Now, you probably aren't in my shoes, right? In my exact shoes where you didn't have an eating disorder. Maybe you didn't. Maybe you were completely unaware of the damage that you were doing to your metabolism because of external things in your environment, eating foods that are conventional, processed. You're like, everybody's doing it. It's the SAD diet, the standard American diet. Everybody's doing it. So, why can't I hang in there and have my cake from Sam's Club and eat it too, right? No, it doesn't work like that, okay? Unfortunately, that's a fantasy, man. So what happens is now that I recommend if you're not already, right? I just might be your girl. And you're going to learn a little bit more about me in the Perfect 10 next week that I hope you show up for. But wherever you are on your journey, that fork in the road, number one, you can't quit because guess what? If you do, it ain't going to get better. Number two, the things that you are doing, if they are not working, it doesn't mean that things aren't happening underneath the hood like me. Because what happened for me, I dialed back my exercise. I stopped running. Thank God, stopped running. I started to eat better quality foods. And this was the information that we had at the time. We did count macros. I really worked very hard to lessen binging, to lessen all these compulsions that I was addicted to, man. I didn't even realize it. Under my hood was the adrenaline junkie. And as effed up as that is, I got hooked on that adrenaline hit from either a binge or from whatever compulsion that I had. Messed up. Freaking messed up, man. Okay, so started to get healthier, and I stayed the course. I trusted the process. How many times have you heard that sucker? So let's say maybe you are starting to do my perfect 10 and it's not perfect for you. Well, there are opportunities, right, to make it perfect for you. Just like any program, gang, we want to take an individualized approach, because the cookie cutter thing, it ain't going to work. Now, what that does not give you a free pass for is like, hey, that didn't work for me, so I just crapped all over the whole notion or idea and did my own thing. No, I'm not saying that. There's going to have to be enhancements and tweaks made. Let's say we'll use Perfect 10 for an example. Maybe more fuel needs to be added, maybe more exercise, that sort of thing. Okay? Now, the other thing that needs to happen is your expectations. If you're like, well, hey, I am doing a little bit of exercise here and there, and you're not going all in, right? You're not going all in with your commitment, all right? It's time to go all into yourself. It's to commit to your commitment, which is yourself, and to reverse engineer your goal. So if that scale ain't moving to where you are, this is what I remember myself. Oh, I would be so motivated the first 3 days. Okay, I'm not going to have this whole binge eating thing anymore. Me and my eating disorder are breaking up. 3 days I'm motivated. Day number 4 comes around and I slip back into my old patterns. Boom, there's my metabolism in the frying pan. Ask for help. Ask for support. A lot of times I hear people say, well, my family is, not on board with this. My family needs to have this in the house, or X, Y, or Z. And this is I don't want to go off on too much of a tangent here, but what I had to do was have the come to Jesus talk with people that I lived with to say, I'm struggling right now. And think of a drug addict, and maybe there's a recovering drug addict. They're like, hey, I'm recovering from heroin, but there's heroin in the house. How's that going to work? Right? So there has to be a come to Jesus to be like, hey, I can't resist that right now. So for a temporary time, I need it out of sight until I rewire my brain and I no longer become my old patterns. You and me are just a bunch of patterns, right? How many people can you predict their patterns? I know that at exactly 9:07 a.m. in the morning, my husband wants to take a nap. I don't know. He doesn't. But let's say, we can see people's patterns. Can you see yours? So it is time to break your pattern. If you have been struggling with weight loss, muscle building, mindset around yourself, or your nutrition habits, and you're like, OMG, Becky, I am doing the insanity dance. And I keep going and going and going, doing the same thing. Break that pattern. Here's an easy way to start. Let's say you drive to the grocery store the same route. I'm on autopilot. You drive the same route. Go a different way. That is one example of breaking a pattern. Let's say every day you drive through, don't you let me catch you there, Starbucks or Dunkin'. Don't you dare let me catch you there. I will hunt you down and slap that right out of your hand, that moldy ass coffee. All right. So let's say you do, and you're like, oh, I don't want to go that way because Aubrey's going to see me and slap that moldy ass coffee out of my hand. Well, go a different way so I don't find you. Yeah? Give me some star emojis if you are picking up what I'm putting down. Okay. So I hope that is helpful. I hope that me sharing some insight about my past on me not giving up on myself, also because I had someone who believed in me and he could see plain as day that I had that potential. When I work with people, and not everybody's my girl, right? And I'm not everybody's girl, right? So when I work with someone though, and they sign on for my online coaching, right? My paid programs, not just the free stuff. I mean, the paid stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can see exactly where we're going. Are we going to get there in 6 months? Depends on where you are and what you can handle, right? A lot of times we need a year because we don't know, and I don't know all the time, where have you been? How old are you? All these things. But the best project that you will ever work on, in my personal opinion, is yourself. Others might say, yeah, no, Aubrey, it's my house. Okay. Well, all right, that's okay. All right, now, number 2, what I want to talk about is that exercise that I posted. This is a Brett Contreras exercise that he is known as the glute guy. And, you know, I used to really drink his Kool-Aid. I'm not mad about Brett. He's got some great stuff that has helped build the best butts. He's helped the hip thrust really explode. All right, now, the exercise that I specifically posted, he calls the frog pumper. Now, the frog pumper is a good finisher to a hip thrust. If you are a current gym goer and you're like, everybody is humping the Smith machine bar, I should be doing it too. All right, sure, go for it. I mean, everybody's doing it. You know what I mean? Okay, but it is a very effective way to target your glutes. The exercise that I showed with the soles of your feet together and you're in like this butterfly position, and you are stretching your glutes and thrusting your hips up to the sky, you're going to kind of do what I call the finisher to completely exhaust that muscle group to the point where your butt cheeks are going to be so swole, they're going to be like, girl, what you doing, right? You're getting a little glute pump out of that. So I'd recommend 15 to 20 reps at the end of your barbell hip thrust. And that is if you're doing a barbell hip thrust. You can also do that exercise with a dumbbell on your lap. And guess what? I'm going to perfect 10 this thing. You don't even need weight. So next week for Perfect 10, we start Tuesday. Gang, it would be so great of you. Think of it like my tip jar, that you invite at least a bunch of your girlfriends. Tell your mom, tell your sister, tell the friends, tell the neighbors, ring the alarm, say that Perfect 10 is starting next Tuesday. Get your hot cross buns into the Empowered Fitness Coaching group by AWO, and let's get after it. I did update some things in the Perfect 10 PDF, and because I realized there was some things that were missing, that I was like, Aubrey, how did you miss that? You read this like 1,000 times. So yeah, I updated that workbook, and I'll continue to update it every time I do a launch as I continue to perfect the program, or really it's just to improve it. Now, next week, doesn't matter if you've done P10 with me before or not, I got some new stuff for you. And what we're going to be doing is we are going to be doing some tempo training workouts. Yes, I'm going to make you feel the burn, the slow burn. We're going to be doing In the Kitchen with Moi. And you might be like, oh my gosh, you own a kitchen? I do. Okay. And I'm going to be in it. And I am going to be making some things. And you're going to be like, wow, you should go on Iron Chef. You're amazing. No. You are going to see me raw and real, to see me in the wild, in my element. I'm in the kitchen a lot. I'm not proud of that. But at the same time, I want you to see some hacks that I use for ways to make your food more exciting, your experience more pleasurable. And I really want to hear from you guys, because I know you guys listening, you do a lot of really fun recipes. In the Perfect 10, I have a link to all the different recipes that are Perfect 10 approved, meaning that they are void of artificial things. They are void of things like gluten, super high fat things. We are giving our liver a break in the Perfect 10. Now, some people have messaged me and say, Aubrey, I'm doing Perfect 10 again, but man, that morning smoothie, it's just not cutting the mustard. I'm feeling a little dizzy. Well, that is important for me to know. And so it's important to say, all right, we just have to increase your serving size with that. We don't want to abort the mission necessarily, because if you do read through the program, you're going to understand the method to the madness. And it's been so effective for so many people to reset their metabolism, improve their mood, their mindset, and also Move the freaking scale, baby. Okay. Next, we are going to be doing the most powerful drug on the planet next week. You and me. It's free. The most powerful drug on the planet is the breath. And so I experienced this, oh gosh, has it been 3 years ago, when my husband and I went to the jungle, baby. We went to Belize and we did this style of breathing that I went to like another dimension. I was like, whoa, man. And I'm just breathing. We were coached through the breath like we were taking a body pump class, like, and then, I mean, all these different ways. God, even me just doing that, I'm like, ooh, okay. So the reason why I'm going to teach you a specific breathing style next week is that you're going to be able to reset your central nervous system. You're going to be able to reset also your brain waves. You don't have to pay for jack squat. You just have to show up to glow up and freaking invite some friends already. And also, if you're doing perfect 10, freaking send me your results, guys, because I have to like beg and plead. Come on now. I don't need to show your face. I need your stats and I need your pictures. Come on, work with me, people. All right. Kidding, not kidding. All right. Last but not least, what else? We got in the kitchen. We got most powerful drug on the planet. But we are starting Perfect 10 next Tuesday. That's January is it the 14th? Yeah. January the 14th at 11:30 a.m. Make sure in the comments you either put a star emoji if you are ready to go. All right. Or if you need the workbook, put P10 me. All right, gang. Thank you for tuning in. Today was a longer Wellness Wednesday chat because it is the first one of 2025 and it won't be the last. Above all, I'm going to share with you what I tell every one of my Envision clients. I believe in you. And I am here to help you believe in yourself 1 ounce more. Ciao for now, everybody.